Okay, this is for number 19, profit, revenue, cost equation, selling earbuds. Read the problem. I'll link it so you can get to this video from that source. So I don't know, just look up in the problem. Point being though, the profit equation, the price equation for the earbuds is just a price, but you only really determine your revenue when you take the price and then you multiply by how many units you sold. So even though in the original prompt is 1,000 minus X, that's only the price of the earbud that you're making. You got to still factor in that your revenue is how much you sold at the price that you sold them for. Now, profit is the difference between your revenue, money you brought in, and your cost. And so we need that cost equation back up here in the problem. We need the cost equation to be subtracted from the revenue in order to determine, well, how much money did your venture make you? So I have right here 1,000 minus X times X, that's my revenue. And then I'm gonna subtract from that the cost equation, or the cost expression, 3,000 plus 20X. That actually should make kind of sense here. You're gonna have to have infrastructure in place, like having $3,000 in material or a commitment to pay your workers a certain amount of money, or even pay yourself, right? That you're gonna be doing this work. Then every time you make another unit, it's gonna cost you materials, cost you hours of time, some sort of investment, energy for the machines to work, like your electricity bill or your water bill, whatever it is that's helping you function and make that material. So these two numbers, although maybe like made up, they still have basis in reality. You gotta be thinking about these for my future business people out there. Simplify the whole thing, because taking the derivative, which we're gonna do next, needs to happen nicely. And you don't wanna take the derivative of this expression, that's super complicated. Simplify it so you have no more parentheses, you've combined like terms, you turn it into actually what it is. It's a quadratic in this problem, and you take the derivative of that quadratic. Much nicer than taking the derivative of this original revenue minus cost equation. Okay, derivative, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, there it is. But you see, when you're optimizing, it's all about making sure that you set the derivative equal to 0, because when the derivative equals 0, you've determined where growth in a positive motion is canceled by growth in a negative motion. Here's my profit, or my profit equation. Revenue minus cost together looks like this concave down quadratic equation. And the derivative minus 2x, I mean, come on now, that's your power rule in action, plus 1,020. When that's graphed, it looks like a linear function. So you set that linear function equal to 0. It's the derivative of profit. You solve for X when the derivative equals 0, and you find the location that is your maximum on the quadratic equation, the profit quadratic equation. Take that information. Turns out it's 510 units. In other words, saying you would have to commit to making 510 earbuds with your choice of how you're gonna charge money for the earbuds being 1,000 minus how many you make, in order to maximize the profit you're gonna make from this sale, this profit item. You can take 510, put it back into the profit equation, and that's really just plugging 510 back into this original one or into whichever one you wanna use. But when you're done, it's in the realm of $236,000. Which kind of makes sense, because on the graph, you're gonna be $3,000 in the hole if you never made a single unit, because you had to promise to pay the material or get someone, in your warehouse or store to do the manufacturing. You pay yourself. And 236,000, dollars later, you finally have maximized your profit. In fact, if you start overproducing, now you're gonna start losing money because the demand's gone down, or you've committed to making more than you can, fund out of your warehouse. Maybe your warehouse that you used to produce it just got too small. Point being though, there should be some common sense thinking when you start looking at the graph of it should be that you've reached supply and demand, and it's time for, if demand is going down, the amount of money you're making goes down too. Thank you for watching. This has been question 19. See you in the next episode.